welcome back. And in this one, I've loaded up our Blender scene with the original file that, if you remember in one of the first videos, we actually saved this file, and this was our LOD file. And when we first started modeling, we made this cube, and we kind of saved it as it is. And the more I think about it, the more we're just going to use this cube as a LOD just to get you guys the instructions on how to upload a LOD. One of the things to remember is, first off, is your level of detail, or your LOD, is the way that the game will view this asset far away. And the purpose of this LOD is to reduce the amount of rendering and computer resources it takes when you are far away from this asset. In lieu of that, you always are looking to make the LOD as low poly and as low detail as you can. You only want to take basically the most like, pronounced elements of your model. And to be honest, things that like ledges and stuff that we added on the sides, that is going to not even be seen from far away. So I'm not even going to include those. This LOD is going to be good to go. I mean, I'm literally just going to make a box. And when I looked in the last video, we actually kind of looked at that, and it looked pretty good by itself. So to be honest, this is probably just going to be a waste of time for practicality for this asset. But to get you guys the instructions on how to do this, we're going to do this very quickly and cleanly here. So the last step before, let's say this is your LOD. Now again, some of the devs have recommended, like if you're making a vehicle, your LOD should be like 50 to 100 tries. I mean 100 max. I would actually say leaning towards 50. Building should be about 100 to 150 depending the size. If you're making a pretty big and unique building, 200 tries is the recommended LOD size. Now, a lot of people out there are making really incredible assets that are extremely detailed, so they've gone above the LOD. But that's just one of those things that you balance with the game. You have to look at your computer specs and kind of what other assets that you have going on, and make sure you balance all of that out. If you have too many of those and you've got an old computer or a potato, you're going to have some bad times with these assets. And there's some guys out there that just don't give a shit, and they'll put their LOD with the amount of tries in their original model, which is just going to burn your computer up. Those are the assets that I tend to avoid because the maker just didn't put enough time into making a simplistic LOD like this. So anyways, enough about bashing people, enough about being on a soapbox here. So let's say we're done with this LOD. You're going to click it, and just like our last export, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to make sure that we have transforms selected. We're going to make sure we're in object mode, and we're going to hit Control A, rotation and scale, click that, deselect that to make sure it applies, reselect it, and we're going to export this to our desktop. But this is the big difference between the LOD, and again, I'm going down, so I click desktop up here, and I'm going to go over here to my screen and click selected objects, change my scale to 100, apply transforms and modifiers. Even though I know I have no modifiers here, I'm going to do it anyway just because out of habit. And then this is the important part that you want to kind of understand here, is that your model is going to have a different name here, your LOD model. So you're going to name this the same way, but instead of keeping it like that, you're going to do underscore LOD. Actually, I believe this I can't remember if it's in caps or in lowercase. Let us check this out really quickly here and find out. I do apologize, guys. I should kind of know this off the top of my head. Let's see here. It is lowercase. I apologize. So make sure you have this lowercase. If you uppercase your LOD file, you may actually run into some issues. So I apologize for that slight detour, but make sure you make it lowercase. It needs to have the same prefix as your original model, but it needs to just have underscore lowercase LOD.fbx. So we'll export that to our file here. Oh, you know what? I screwed up. One big thing that we forgot to do is unwrap this model. You always have to unwrap your LOD. So the good thing about the LOD is that you don't have to really be that precise with the unwrap. You kind of want to unwrap it in the most logical way and very close to how you did it. So just to review, I split the screen by clicking down here and split screen, and I went down here to this spot, this space, and clicked my UV image editor. And just like we did in our normal modeling, we're going to have to create a new image, and what I'm going to do here is call this LOD. But what we're going to do is make this kind of like, I don't know, 256 or something, because it doesn't need to be big at all. This is tiny, so we'll just make it a 256 by 256. You know what, that might be too small. Let's do 512 by 512. And I don't even know if that matters, so let's just keep it that way. You could do 256 if you want or whatever. We're not going to actually do any custom textures with this. We're just going to do a LOD and let the baker in the game do it, since it's such a small simplistic building. So anyways, we're going to go and do the same kind of things that we did in the first model, and we're just going to unwrap this all at once though. It's just a box, and we're going to delete the bottom face again. We don't need that face. It's a simple box, so I'm just going to unwrap this, and you notice it unwrapped like crap. So what I need to do here is actually make some seams, and what seems, like I said in the first video that I did not go over very cleanly, seems a lot is almost like if you were cutting this up so that you can lay this flat. Please do yourself a big favor and research what seams are, and I apologize because I'm just not going to be having the time in this video to really explain what these seams are all about. So, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure if these seams are really in the right spots. I just am kind of thinking in my head it folds out on this, and these are cuts, so you know it's going to kind of cut itself out. This isn't really connected to anything down there, so yeah, let's see what this does when I unwrap it now. Okay, so kind of unwrapped in a better position here, so that's about all I'm going to do. I don't even know if I need to readjust this officially, but I'm just going to leave this how it is. And that is kind of our cube unwrapped, or thing unwrapped here. So what I might actually do is, yeah, I'm just going to leave it as that. So now what we're going to do is re-export here. I apologize for not unwrapping that first. And again, anytime I export, I'm going to go ahead and rotation and scale, even though we didn't even mess with anything. And go back here and export it, and then just overwrite our file. So now we're going to load our LOD file here into our import folder. Alright, and so the next thing we'll do is we will go ahead and load up City Skylines in the asset editor here, and in a quick second here we'll try to figure out if we can do that. So we'll be back.